Why do I have to be a social worker? The answer to this is fairly easy. As a child, I grew up in a home that was not so great. My parents were divorced and my dad had custody of both my older sister and I. After a year or so of my parents being separated, my dad got back together with his high school sweetheart, who would later become our stepmom. In the beginning, things were fine. We all got along fine, although there always seemed to be some sort of tension in the home. At around age 6, my stepmom had a stroke. This changed things for both my sister and I. She became mean. Every day, we wouldn't know what was coming to us. We didn't know if she was going to be nice or attack us for what seemed like an unknown reason. Many times it was just like that, too. One minute she was fine, the next she would flip and start spanking us, throwing things at us, or plain out hitting us with whatever was in her reach. Honestly, I have no idea why she became like this, or what set her off, but every day was a different experience. It was because of this experience that I endured as a child that I have the empathy that I do. Empathy is when you're able to put yourself in another person's shoes. You're really able to relate to an individual when you're able to be empathetic with them. As I grew older, I didn't want to be like many individuals who end up in prison or ending up as an abuser themselves. I never wanted to treat another person like I was treated as a child. When I was 14, I may have done the smartest and scariest thing that I could have ever done as a teenager. I told my father, whom I've lived with my entire life, that I wanted to leave. That I wanted to leave his home and move to my mother's, a whole new city, school, and life. The look on his face when I told him I had enough of the abuse I wanted to leave was one that I will never forget. It was at this time that I no longer had to fear getting beat for no apparent reason. I had a simpler life. This is also the time that I decided I want a career where I was able to help individuals who may be in the same situation that I was in as a child. I had no one, except for my older sister, and to this day, her and I are still very close. I wanted to be a person that children would feel comfortable talking to about problems at home. Now that I'm older, I realize that not every child I come in contact with will be willing to talk to me about personal matters at home. I realize that I can only do so much, and what that is someone who is willing to lend an ear to listen to whatever they want to talk about, not just the bad. I'm someone with a high level of empathy for those who grew up or are currently living in an abusive home. I've had to overcome many barriers to get to where I am today, but through my education and experience, I have learned that I've made the right decision, the decision to become a social worker.